Masantos kabosan at si kayon amin. Magandang umaga sa ating lahat. Good morning to each and every one of us. I am the number 7 reporter on chapter 7, Students Who Are Gifted and Talented. 30 years of financing giftedness and talent among Filipino children and youth. Dr. Aurora H. Roldan, a president of the Talented and Gifted Philippines Foundation Incorporation, or TGP, and a pillar in the education of gifted Filipino children and youth, recalled the first step of faith in the Filipino gifted that she took on December 1973. Vignettes on children and youth who are gifted and talented. The following articles highlight the achievements of young Filipino who show advanced cognitive development, superior intellectual ability, and talent in the arts. Meet the Gifted by Natalie Tomada, the Philippine star, on May 19, 2003. Conversation have been this interesting. Emil Justin Cibrian talks about his admiration for the wisdom of Confucius, his thoughts on the spread of the SARS epidemic, and his disapproval on the use of contraceptives, just like any learned, opinionated adult. John Brian Santiago Toysin, whose first word line he was about 4 months old, is supercalifragilis. Go figure, has been ploughing through the books at an age when others were just getting past thumb sucking. Whiskey by Edmond Silvestri, the Philippine star, on July 27, 2003. Omar Parenas, Rizwan of East Hanover, New Jersey, is a Microsoft Certified Professional, or MCP, recognized and promoted by Microsoft as an expert with the technical skills needed to design. Omar is the computer whiz kid, the youngest Microsoft certified professional in the world. Presently, he is taking a series of exams to become a Microsoft certified system engineer by the time he turns 10 April 2004. The next is Kiwi Alejandro Camara, a male history in Harvard Law School. Aleo Awards affirms Karel Exceptional Gift by Nestor Torre, Philippine Daily Inquirer, on August 28, 2004, when to Aleo Foundation recently gave its Best New Female Artist award to Karel for Magnifat. Friends were especially thrilled because they had practically seen the popular teen talent grow up in the front of their very eyes. Passion for theater. In some of TV interview, Karel has said that her love for performing bloomed during those rehearsals and performance during which she embedded the passion for theater that her mother Pinky shared the musical is other original performers like Andy Bais, Rito, Jingle Buena, Dulce, and Boji Pasqua. Career boost, but Karel's biggest career boost is came when she was chosen over many auditionees for the covered slot of VJ. Despite all this success, Karel continues to dream of being more than just walk-on roles in theatrical production. Great people of the 20th century, gifted and talented. In 1996, the editors of Time, the weekly magazine, published a special edition that featured the remarkable characters of that influence, the forces, and great events of past 100 years. The Great People of the 20th Century book present a biography and achievement of the most memorable and unforgettable individuals. We have the leaders, the diplomats and dictators who have shaped the destiny of the nation. We have American President Theodore Roosevelt, Woodrow Wilson, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, Harvey Truman, John Kennedy, Lyndon Johnson, and Richard Nixon. Russian Marxist Vladimir Lenin and Joseph Stalin, Russian President Mikhail Gorbachev, Chinese Communist leader Mao Zedong, German Chancellor Adolf Hitler, British Prime Minister Winston Churchill, French President Charles de Gaulle. We have also the activists, the men and women who fought for change from outside the traditional halls of power. We have Indian peace advocate Mohandas Gandhi, South African President Nelson Mandela, Israel President David Ben-Gurion, Ayatollah Khamenei of Iran, German Dr. Albert Schweitzer, the Dalai Lama of Tibet, Yugoslavian Mother Teresa, American educator John Dewey, Italian educator Maria Montessori, American Margaret Sanger, American preacher Billy Graham, Pope John XXIII and Pope John II, Polish President Lech Walesa, and Philippine President Corazon Aquino. We have also the pioneers, the men and women who have dared to explore new fields and break down barriers. We have American pilot Charles Lindbergh, who pioneered the first solo flight across the Atlantic Ocean. We have also American pilot Amelia Earhart, the first woman to fly the Atlantic solo. American pilot Wilbur and Orville Wright. French Jacques Cousteau, who explored the deep of the ocean. Mountains climber Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay. American environmentalist Rachel Carson. Viennese father of psychoanalysis Sigmund Freud. Swiss psychologist Carl Gustav Jung. French philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre. American baseball player Jackie Robinson. We have also the innovators, the gifted few whose vision have changed our lives. American Henry Ford, founder of Ford Motor Corporation. American pilot Eddie Rickenbacker. American newspaper publisher William Randolph Hearst. American cartoon filmmaker Walt Disney, British economist. American John Maynard Keynes, American Russian David Sarnoff, the father of mass media, American T. Turner, founder of cable news network or CNN, American industrialist Tom Watson Sr. and Jr., who introduced the International Business Machine or IBM, American computers genius and founder of Microsoft Bill Gates. We have also the scientists, the searchers whose work has revolutionized human society in the span for only 100 years. These are German physicists. Albert Einstein, who revolutionized modern physics with his work on the atomic nature of matter. Polish scientist Marie Curie, who discovered radium. Scottish Dr. Alexander Fleming, who discovered the antibiotic nature of penicillin. British Francis Crick and American James Watson, who identified the double helix structure of the deoxyribonucleic acid or DNA. American Dr. Jonas Salk, who discovered polio vaccine. American chemist Linus Pauling for his work on chemical bond. British mathematician and theoretical physicist Stephen Hawking, wheelchair bound due to a debilitating disease that paralyzed him, considered as the best known scientist in the world. American astronomer Edwin Hubble, who proposed the theory of the expansion of the universe. Kenyan-born paleoanthropologist Lewis and Manny Lead, who discovered bone fragments of ape-like prehumans called Homo habilis. American anthropologist Margaret Mead. The creators, the artists whose work has shaped and mirrored the century. Spanish visual artist and painter Pablo Picasso, considered as the century's most significant artist who created the Cubist style of art. German architect Mies van der Rohe. American photographer Alfred Stieglitz. American painter Georgie Keefe. American novelist James Joyce. British novelist Virginia Woolf. Irish playwright George Bernard Shaw. British stage and film actor Laurence Olivier. Stage and film comedian Charlie Chaplin. Russian neoclassical choreographer George Balandrin. Russian composer Igor Stravinsky. American jazz band leader Louis Armstrong. American composer George Gershwin. American work and roll legend Elvis Presley. And last is British pop star band called The Beatles, composed of bassist Paul McCartney, lead guitarist George Rhythm, guitarist John Lennon, and drummer Ringo Starr. We have also the human intelligence. The nature of the human intellect has fascinated scholars and became the subject of debates, studies, and proposition as early as during the time of Greek philosophers Aristotle and Plato. The study of intelligence gained popularity and greatly influenced by the works of Wilhelm Wundt, James Machen Cattell, J.S. Hall, and Hermann Ebbinghaus. The prominent psychologists of the 20th century were Edward L. Thorndike, Alfred Bennett, Person, Charles Perman Goddard, Stern, Theodore, Simon, Yerkes, Lewis Terman, Hollingworth, Goodenough, Vygotsky, and Jean Piaget. The prominent theories were Burst, Thurston Cattell, Wexler Guilford, Vernon, Hunt, Anna Anastasi, Thorndike, and Helder Tyler, and Ising. In the present movement include R. Cattell in the 1905 and 1998, Carroll on 1916, Jensen in 1923, Kamen on 1924, Renzulli on 1936, Gardner on 1943, and Stanbridge on 1949. We have also the theories and definition of intelligence. The Bennett-Simon scale on 1890s. The modern approach to understand the concept of intelligence began with the work of Alfred Bennett, a French psychologist on 1857 and 1911, and his colleague Theodore Simon on 1873 to 1961. Bennett was hired by the Paris school system to develop tests that would identify children who were not learning and would not benefit from further education. The next is Sperman two-factor theory of intelligence on 1904. Charles Sperman, a British psychologist on 1863 to 1945, advanced the two-factor theory of intelligence. The G and the S, thus the performance of any intellectual act requires some combination of G or general factors, which is available to the same individual to the same degree for all intellectual acts, and of S or specific factors, which are specific to that act and which varies in strength from one act to another. The next is Thurman's Stanford Bennett Individual Intelligence Test in 1906. Lewis Madison Thurman, an American cognitive psychologist, on 1877 to 1956, published and revised and perfected Bennett-Simon scale for American population in 1906 while he was at Stanford University. The next is Thorndike's stimulus response theory on 1920s. Edward L. Thorndike, an American psychologist on 1874 to 1949, and his student used objective measurement of intelligence on human subject as early as 1903. Next is L. Thurston Multiple Factors Theory of Intelligence on 1938. Louis Thurston was an American psychometrician on 1887 to 1955 who studied intelligent tests of perception through factor analysis. Theory of intelligence identified seven primary mental abilities as verbal comprehension, word fluency, number facility, spatial visualization, associate memory, perpetual speed, and reasoning. He developed the test of primary mental abilities on the year 1938. The next is Cattell theory on fluid and crystallized intelligence. Raymond Cattell, a British American psychologist on 1905 to 1998, theorized that there are two types of intelligence. We have fluid intelligence and crystallized intelligence. Fluid is essentially nonverbal and relatively culture-free. Involves adaptive and new learning capabilities related to the mental operation and processes on capacity, decay, selection, and storage of information. While crystallized intelligence develops through the exercise of fluid intelligence, it is a product of the acquisition of knowledge and skills that are strongly dependent upon exposure to culture. The next is Guilford Theory on the Structure of Intellect on 1967. J.P. Guilford, an American psychologist, advanced a general theory of human intellect whose major application or use is for educational research, personal selection and placement, education of gifted and talented children. We have four types of content are figural or the properties of stimuli experience through the senses visual, auditory, olfactory, gustatory, and kinesthetic. We have symbolic or letters, numbers, symbols, design, semantic or words, ideas, and behavioral or action and expression of thoughts and ideas. We have also the five kinds of operation: cognition or ability to gain, recognize, and discovered knowledge. Next is memory or the ability to retain, store, retrieve, and recall the contents of thoughts. 3. Divergent production or the ability to produce a society or ideas or solution to a problem. 4. Convergent production or the ability to produce a single best solution to a problem. And evaluation or the ability to render judgment and decide whether the intellectual contents are correct or wrong, good or bad. We have also the sixth kind of product. We have number one, unit, come in single number, letter or words. Two, classes or a higher order concept, example, men and women, people. Three, relation, connection between and among classes and concept. Four, systems, process of ordering or classification of relation. Five, transformation, process of altering or restructuring of intellectual content. And six, implication, process making inferences from separate pieces of information. We have also Stanberg's uh, tri triarchic theory of intelligence in 1982. Robert Stanberg of Yale University theorized that intelligence is fixed capacity of a person. Hence, with a higher intellectual capabilities, as in the case with children and youth who are gifted and talented, almost every fast be achieved at the higher level performance. The, the triarchic theory of intelligence seeks to explain in an uh, integrative way the relationship between number one, intelligence and the internal world of the individual or the mental mechanism that underlie intelligent behavior. Next is intelligence and external world of the individual or the use of the the mental mechanism in everyday life in order to attain an intelligent fit to the environment. And last, intelligence and experience or the meditating role of one's passage through life between the internal and external worlds of the individual. Stanberg called this theory triarchic because intelligence has three main parts of dimension. We have contextual, experimental, and componential. Contextual intelligence emphasizes intelligence in its socio-cultural context, thus intelligence for children, while experimental intelligence emphasizes insight and the ability to formulate new ideas and combine seemingly unrelated fact or transformation, while componential intelligence emphasizes the effective of information pursuing. Stanberg defines component as the underlying cognitive mechanism that carry out the adaptive behaviorist novel situation. We have also two kinds of components. We have performance and meta components. Performance components are used the actual execution of the task, while meta components are the higher order executive processes used in planning, monitoring, and evaluating. Stanberg has identified six significant meta-components. We have number one, recognition of what has to be done, understanding the task at hand. Next, selecting performance components and encoding important features of a task. 3. Selecting an appropriate mental representation visually or verbally. Next, organizing performance components by formulating plans for organizing and sequencing the steps or procedures in the processes. Next, deciding now to allocate attention and resources. And monitoring one's performances. The next is Gardner Theory of Multiple Intelligence on 1983. Howard Gardner is a psychologist and professor at Harvard University, Graduate School of Education, and director of Project Zero based on his studies of many people from different walks of life in every circumstances and professionals. He developed his breakthrough theory of multiple intelligence or MI. The multiple intelligence or the MI theory advanced that in teaching anything a parent or teacher can draw on a child's many intelligence, which are linguistic, logical, mathematical, bodily, kinesthetic, spatial, musical, interpersonal, intrapersonal, and naturalistic. We have also linguistic intelligence. It is ability to use language to excite, please, convince, stimulate, or convey information. We have also logical mathematical intelligence. It is ability to explore patterns, categories, and relationship by manipulating objects or symbols to experiment in controlled orderly ways. Next is bodily kinesthetic. Refers to the ability to use fine and gross motor skills in sports, the performing arts or arts and craft production. Next, spatial intelligence is the ability to perceive and mentally manipulate a form or object, perceive and create tension, balance, and composition in a visual or spatial display. We have also musical intelligence, ability to enjoy, perform, or compose a musical piece. Next is intrapersonal intelligence, ability to understand and get along with others. Interpersonal intelligence, ability to gain access to understand one's inner feelings, dreams, and ideas. And next is naturalistic intelligence, is the most recent addition to the original list of seven multiple intelligence. It refers to the person's ability to identify and classify patterns in nature. We have also definition of gifted and talent. We have old concept and emerging paradigm. In old concept, we have giftedness is high IQ, trait-based, subgroup elitism, innate or in there, test-driven, authoritarian, you are not gifted, school-oriented, ethnocentric, while in emerging paradigm, many types of giftedness, qualities based, individual excellence, based on context, achievement driven, what do you do is gifted, collaborative, determined by consultation, field and domain oriented and diverse. We have also federal or American government definition. The first federal definition of the gifted and talented was contained in the 1972 Marland Report. Gifted and talented children are capable of high performance and demonstrate potential ability in any of the following six areas. We have general intellectual ability, specific academic aptitude, creative or productive thinking, leadership ability, ability in the visual or performing arts, psychomotor ability. Characteristic of gifted and talented children and youth. The previous discussion clearly indicate that giftedness and talent are a complex condition that covers a wide range of human abilities and traits. That is why it must be clear understood that giftedness and talent vary according to social context. We have intense intellectual curiosity, fascination with words and ideas, perfectionism, need for precision, learning in great into initiative leaps, intense need for mental stimulation, difficulty conforming to the thinking of others, early moral and existential concern, tendency toward introversion. There are times when the characteristic of gifted and talented person are misinterpreted as bordering on abnormal behavior, aggressiveness, antisocial behavior, and be like. We have Shakely on 1989, cited in Howard 2003, listing the identifiers of young gifted and talented children as follow: exceptional learner in the acquisition and retention of knowledge. We have exceptional memory, learns quickly and easily, advanced understanding or meaning of area. We have also exceptional user of knowledge in the application and comprehension of knowledge. We have exceptional use of knowledge, advanced use of symbol system, expressive and complex, demands a reason for unexplained events, reason well in problem solving, draws from previous knowledge and transfer it to other areas. Exceptional generator of knowledge, individual and creative attributes. We have highly creative behaviors in areas of interest and talent, does not conform to the typical ways of thinking, perceiving, enjoy self-expression of ideas, feelings, or belief, keen sense of humor that reflect advanced, unusual compression or relationship and meaning, highly developed curiosity about cause, future, the known. We have also exceptional motivation, individual attributes. We have perfectionism, string to achieve high standard, especially in areas of talent and interest, shows initiative, self-directive, high level of inquiry and reflection, long attention span when motivated, next leadership, desire and ability to lead, intense desire, no. We have also creativity as the highest expression of giftedness. Creative ability is considered as central to the definition of giftedness. Clark, on 1986, refers to creativity as the highest expression of giftedness. We have fluency. The creative person is capable of producing many ideas per unit of time. Uh, Next is flexibility. A variety of ideas, unusual ideas, and alternative solutions are offered. We have also novelty, originality. Low probability, unique words and responses are uses. Elaboration, the ability to provide details is evidence. Synthesizing ability, the person has the ability to put unlikely ideas together. Analyzing ability, the person has the ability to organize ideas into larger, inclusive patterns. Ability to recognize or redefine existing ideas. The ability to transform an existing object into one of different design, functions, or use is evident. Complexity, ability to manipulate many interrelated ideas at the same time is shown. We have also assessment of gifted and talented children. Similar to screening and location and identification and assessment of exceptional children, we have pre-referral intervention and multi-factored evaluation. In referral intervention, exceptional children are identified as early as possible, while multi-factored evaluation, information are gathered from a variety of sources using the following materials. We have group and individual intelligence tests, performance in the school-based achievement test, permanent records, performance in previous grades, awards received, portfolios of student work, parent per self-nomination. We have also differentiated curriculum and instructional system. The skills in the basic elementary curriculum of the Department of Education are intended of average learners and lack of the competences that match the learning characteristic of high ability student. A differentiated curriculum that is modified depth and pace is used in special education programs for gifted and talented students. We have curriculum compacting is the method of modifying the regular curriculum that certain grade level by compressing the content and skills that high ability students are capable of learning in shorter period of time. In enrichment of the regular curriculum allows the student to study the content at a greater depth both in the horizontal and vertical direction, employing high order thinking skills. while horizontal enrichment adds more content and increases the learning areas not found in the regular curriculum for the grade level. For example, mathematics subject like algebra or geometry that are partly included in the regular curriculum or advanced subject like trigonometry and calculus may be included in the differentiated curriculum. We have also vertical enrichment allows the student to engage in independent study, experimentation and investigation of topics that interested them, and self-contained class. High ability students are enrolled in a special class that is taught by trained special education or education teacher. And that is the end of my report. I hope uh, you listen on my report, and thank you for listening.